A big round of applause for our guests this evening, Dawn Thompson and Gwyn Bevel. They are here specifically to talk about Deerfest, but on the very, very slight chance you're not familiar with one or both of these ladies, I thought we might get to know them just a little bit first. We'll start to my far left, your far right. Gwyn Bevel. Gwyn Bevel is, what's your official title at the news station?
I'm an anchor.
You're just an anchor?
An anchor.
That sounded like it had no capital letters in it at all.
The evening anchor. Does that sound better?
Yes. And does anyone here not know Gwyn from television? All right. Well, so how long have you been at the station?
I have been there 7 years now.
7 years. And you moved here from like somewhere in the heartland, right?
I did. I got my master's degree in Springfield, Illinois, and this was my first job out of college.
Now, Springfield, Illinois, that's not the one where The Simpsons is set, right?
We believe it is.
I think they decided that was like in Oregon or...
Springfield, Oregon actually won the competition. You're right.
Yeah, well.
The people here are great. I honestly have never been in a community that is so giving. You ask and you ask and you ask again, and they continue to come through. So I feel blessed to live here.
Well, I've always felt like... there you go. Todd, you did your part to start a round of applause. Let's carry it all the way through. It's like... It's a one-person wave over there.
It never goes far.
Well, I've said that, I've editorialized about it, that I feel like that's the distinguishing characteristic, and of which falls is the volunteerism, the philanthropy, which is, of course, what brought you guys here specifically today. Dawn.
Yes.
Anybody here not know Dawn Thompson? Everyone knows Dawn Thompson. Dawn is the owner of Spa Bella and Salon Bella, among countless other enterprises. Tell us about yourself. Are you from here?
I am actually from here.
Now, you don't have to lean over. It's in your hand.
There you go.
You get multiple working parts here.
There you go. Okay.
So you're from here?
I am from here.
You went to high school here?
I did. My whole life. Wichita Falls.
This is not a cross-examination. You can volunteer information.
Well, actually, I have been here my whole life, and I love it.
And you started your spa business...
Well, I will tell you 19 years ago, but I was 12 when I started. Let's not do that.
Youngest entrepreneur ever.
Yes. So I've been in business 19 years here, and I absolutely love it.
Who here knows about Deerfest? Well, I will admit that even though he counts for 3. Your enthusiasm is rewarded in Libby's garage.
That's right. Free massages, free gift certificates for those who clap. Just saying.
That's right. Hold it. I'm giving the massages. So you might want to
forgot that part.
You might want to rethink. Oh, you're a crafty one, Dawn. And obviously that 20 I slipped you is paying off already.
That's nice.
So Deerfest is which year we here? Which year is this for Deer?
This is the 4th year.
All right, so describe Deerfest in 25 words or less.
25, oh wow, okay. Well, Deerfest is basically something that...
You just wasted 5 words
There's 5.
on basically something.
You know, I'm mouthy, but it's something that I started, I wanted to do something different.
Let's back up and define Adopt-A-Box first.
Okay. Well, I will do this quickly. How Adopt-A-Box started was about 11 years ago. I was donating to everybody you can imagine, and I had to really pull back and go, I don't want to donate myself out of business, so I had to decide who I wanted to help, and I really wanted to help kids, and I wanted to help people with cancer. So we started a program where it's called Operation Spa Kids, and the Friday before school starts, I close down my spa, and I give free haircuts to abused and neglected children. And as we grew with that...
And you partnered with the foster...
We do anything with CPS, New Horizons.
Yeah, if you never saw media coverage or happened to be there, quite a spectacular event. And if you could leave there untouched, but you're probably Kevin Francis. I mean, you're not even human. But, I mean, these kids who come from, horrible circumstances get to come into the spa and just get treated like kings and queens for a day.
And that is our theme. It's king and queens for the day. We actually roll out red carpet. We have limos. We make sure that those kids for that day, and we try to work with them throughout the year, but we make sure that they have a very...
And then each year this thing began to grow because Dawn, being the personality and the entrepreneur that she is, was always adding elements to it. And I remember the year that it sort of blew up into Adopt-A-Box, I mean, there were like circus clowns, and there was a bounce house, and there was a fire truck, and maybe there were like, I think the Golden Knights Army parachute
It was a
team.
trick and pony show.
Yeah, it was. And,
It was.
And that was when you sort of pivoted to the next level.
That particular year, we just wanted to do something different. We reached out I didn't realize that I had homeless kids right here in my own backyard. And so our first part of that day, haircutting day, we would do for foster kids. And the second part, we would do for homeless kids and lower income. And with working with that, I was like, what do you mean you were 13 and you never owned your own toothbrush? And that's where it started.
So that's where Adopt-A-Box came. Adopt-A-Box ended up being a program where they would literally fill a shoebox with personal hygiene items, toiletries, and get them delivered to kids either directly or through third parties like schools or other agencies. And this thing became a monster instantly.
It was crazy.
If I could add, there are personal hygiene items in the box, and they're one thing of bubbles, because every kid loves bubbles. So the first time you see one of these children open these boxes, you think, I think about my niece who absolutely loves bubbles, and I think, oh, this kid's gonna just go crazy when they see that there are also bubbles in there. But when that kid grabs that toothbrush out of that box and holds it up and says, I have my own toothbrush, it still gives me goosebumps thinking about it. The bubbles, no, not at all. They want the toothbrush.
It speaks to the disconnect between the general public and this level of need. None of us are wanting for combs and toothbrushes and toothpaste and shampoo. And this is a basic need these kids did not even have themselves.
One thing I'd love to say to that, a lot of people ask me, they're like, I don't get it, shampoo, toothbrush, Have you ever been camping and you cannot wait to get home to take a shower? Can you imagine having to go to school like that? It's been 2 or 3 days, and I can tell you stories of, people right here on, people think it just happens in one part of town or another. It's in your own backyard, and we've had kids that are actually looking at other neighbors' water hoses just to take a bath. Some of the things that we've found in doing this, it's pretty astonishing.
So not only are you sending them to school clean, but you're sending them with that confidence.
Yeah.
To break it down and be real blunt about it, nobody wants to be the smelly kid in class.
Sure.
And you're giving that child more than just conditioner, you're giving them confidence.
So then, how did you pivot from Adopt-A-Box to Deerfest? What was that?
We were in 14 counties, and my accountant called and she said, I know that you have people that are giving you boxes and doing things of that nature, but you're broke and you can't continue to do this. I said, okay, well, I said, I do hunt. I do hunt and fish. So I know I don't look like it, but I do. So I'm sitting there, and I was in a deer blind, and somebody had left a paper in one of the deer blinds, and it was from Coleman, Texas, and they had put together a festival, and they had raised money for kids, and I said, whoa, I'm going to keep this. And so I kept it all these years, and when my accountant called, I said, that's all right, I got something planned, and she said, okay. And that's how it started.
You basically called me at the station and said, if I told you I was going to do a hunting and fishing themed fundraiser, what would you say? And I kind of racked my brain because I stay involved with a lot of different organizations and activities in our community, and I said, well, there's not one.
That's the shock.
And she said, that's the answer I wanted to hear.
Well, that's
and
my
we
initial
started
shock.
rolling from there.
How did you make it to 2008 in Wichita Falls without there already being something like this?
Yeah.
That's pretty remarkable all by itself. But now Deerfest is the mechanism by which you do what?
Deerfest is at the MPEC, and it is everything you can imagine. A lot of people think it's just hunting.
I can imagine.
It does have a hunting and fishing, anything to do with outdoors, because that's what we do here in North Texas, or Texas period. We're outdoors a lot. So we have a huge silent auction, live auction, like I said, vendors.
You're going to see everything from jewelry to cowboy boots to hunts to nights out on the town, theater tickets, pretty much everything you can imagine. We've recruited it, and it will be up for bid at Deerfest. You can really get some great deals, and regardless of what you spend that day, you know that it's going to a wonderful cause. That you can't put a price on these children's confidence. You just can't.
First of all, I want to say two things. First of all, I guess I could only technically say one thing. Gwyn Bevel says and 99% fewer times than I do, and I kind of hate her for that. Secondly, the proceeds from Deerfest go to benefit what?
Adopt-A-Box.
Adopt-A-Box, which is, I like that. What are the raw numbers? How many counties, how many schools, who are these resources going through, and who are they going to?
Well, I will tell you this. Since the first Deerfest, we were in 14 counties. And we started just really, we grew. And I went to the school as we had a little bit of cash. And I went to the school and said, what do you need now? And they said, clothes. And they said, I'm fixing to bring 2 kids out, and I want you to meet these kids. And I generally don't ever see the kids that we help. And these little kids came out, and they were close to my kids' age, so that kind of tugs at the heart. And they were wearing clothes that were way too big and way too dirty. So by the end of the day, they had new clothes, new Adopt-A-Box. And the thing I loved about the mother, she was working, single mother, struggling. And that's how clothing begins. So we now not only do personal hygiene, but we clothe children like crazy.
In the same geographic area?
Yes. Well, actually, we're in 21 counties in North Texas.
21 counties is enormous. And you're talking
Huge.
how many school districts, how many schools, how many students?
And those schools all start out the year with a stock of boxes to make sure that they have boxes so that when the nurse sees a need arise or a teacher says this child has not had a bath in days, they're able to get one of those boxes. And throughout the school year, when they need more boxes, we're able to replenish that stock.
Yes.
So I think the question that needs to be answered right now with this audience and the audience that will be watching this later is what do you need from the public now besides to go to DeerFest and spend all your money? Do you need volunteers? Do you need donations? What do you need to make Adopt-A-Box maintain its success?
What we will need, because we will put out thousands of boxes come this September, we are always out of shampoo, conditioner, and deodorant. Why it is always those 3 things, I think it's because sometimes when we replenish, they don't want the whole box. They just ask for those 3 particular items. Deodorant is a huge user of ours.
So you hear that, people? Shampoo, deodorant, conditioner.
Yes. You know, we found the best is that White Rain Suave. It's $1 for a great big O. Yes, yes. Generally, a lot of time, no sample. Well, you can if that's all you have. Samples are great, but what we found, there are usually siblings at the house. You know, they might recognize the need in one child and maybe not the other. But I think a lot of people don't realize too that we, with DeerFest, it has enabled us to do Christmas. This last Christmas, we were able to do 19 kids full Christmas. And Candace and I were talking when I came in, and she asked that I share this story. I was at a business the other day, and this lady, she took my name. She was extremely professional, and when she was done, she came around the counter, and she said, "I just want to tell you thank you." And I said, "Okay." She said, "Last year my husband had left me at Christmas, and I had 4 small children, and I had no job." And she said, and miraculously, she said, "I had all these presents under the tree for these kids, and my kids got Christmas." And she said, and I didn't know where they came from, and I asked, and they finally said Adopt-A-Box. And she said, "I just want you to know, as you can see, I've got a great job now." And she said, "Me and my 4 kids will be at DeerFest this year to support you." So I was like, oh, I need to hear that. Yes. So yeah, we that kind of put some wind in our sail for sure.
We even had a family out in another county, and then we've had a local family whose house burned to the ground. Those children were without clothes. One of them was right after Christmas. Not only did they put clothes back on their backs, but they also bought and replaced their Christmas present. So when somebody asks you, what is this DeerFest thing? Tell them. Tell them that it's all about charity, and it's all about helping the kids, not just here in Wichita Falls. I always say in Texoma, because reaching counties, as in 21 now, is a huge, huge undertaking. And so tell people what the event's about, and tell them what Adopt-A-Box is about. You can fill a box for about $17. So rather than go out to eat one night, you can fill a box and drop it by the spot.
You know, one thing I do want to say that we actually have this year, how many of you guys have seen Duck Dynasty on A&E? Okay, Duck Dynasty is going to be there this year, which is a huge undertaking for us. We were live with them on the radio today, and people love them.
Yeah, them and 12 of the Mudcats. And they're just up north of the Red River. The hand fishermen, crazy enough to stick their hands in the mouth of a massive catfish.
Yes.
They'll be there too.
Yes, and lots of pretty girls. We have our own calendar girls this year. So yes.
Any more questions or comments about DeerFest?
Just one final plug, 9 to 7 at the MPEG, August 4th. $5 to get in, and kids 5 and under are free.
And our live auction is going to rock, just so
And contact information on there's a DeerFest Facebook page. Is there a website?
There is, deerfestwichitafalls.com.
All right.
That's right.
Or call either one of us.
All 3 of us. We're pretty easy. If you can't find one of the 3 of us, you're just not even trying. So, and I blame you personally.